Good morning. Can anybody please tell me whether they can see me because I can't see myself? Anybody on the live chat? Looks like we might be having a technical problem here. Anybody online at all? Can you send me over a message to say whether you can hear me or see me? Because right now I can't see anything. Okay. Okay, thank you, Bonnie. I cannot see a thing here, so I'm just presuming that everything is going fine at your end. Um, can you hear me as well? Okay, sorry about the technical difficulties. I'll just do this totally blind. Hopefully you can see me. I can't hear you or see you, but there you go. Thanks, Pam. So my name is Gary John, and I'm calling you today from Fort McMurray in Alberta in Canada. And I'd like to thank Pam Prince very much for inviting me along to your page and also to have this chat with you today. So today I'd like to talk about how our guides, our guardian angels, our higher powers, whatever words you choose to use, are talking to us all the time. A lot of the time we dismiss it, we don't understand that we're being given these encouragements and information. And our job really is to look and see and hear to understand what it is we're being shown. So this has been happening to me for many, many decades now, but I'd like to go back to one specific time which will give you a little bit of an insight into how our guides do talk to us. At this particular point in my life, I'd been in my career, I think about 23 years. I was working in the oil industry, and I was very fortunate to have worked in 6 countries on 4 continents, and myself and my family were having a really good life. But I wasn't happy. I knew in here that there was something far wrong. I wasn't peaceful, I wasn't calm, I wasn't serene. So, what I started to do, along with a lot of us when we begin to open up spiritually, is I began to read a lot. I began to go to workshops and I began to go to retreats. And all of these were giving me lots of grist for the mill in making the changes that I needed to make in my life, which were quite substantial. So I can remember lying on my basement floor having a meditation and talking to my guides. And I was actually a little bit angry with them. And I was saying, now come on, guys, if I'm supposed to be changing my lifestyle totally, I really do need some input from you. I need you to show me which direction I need to be going in. Because right then I felt like I was in a cul-de-sac with nowhere to go. So not too long after that, I managed to sign up for a wonderful week's retreat, which I'd heard about, which was being held at the Overlander Lodge, just outside the park gates at Jasper National Park in the Rockies. And during this week, we were going to be doing all kinds of amazing things, and of course we did. We were learning all about psychometry, how to move objects with your mind. We were learning about how to, with a person's permission, go into their bodies through your meditation to see if there's any sickness or disease relevant there. we did dowsing. The gentleman hid a load of metal across the field, 1 foot underneath the surface, and we went along with these dowsing rods, and it was absolutely amazing, and it blew my mind because I'm a real show me guy, and as we walked across these metal objects which he'd hidden, our dowsing rods would go all over the place and then come in at the middle. So all of these things were being lined up for me, and I had already asked my guides and said, look, yes, I'm going to be making some changes very soon in my life, but can we use this week away from the normal hustle and bustle of daily life to show me or give me some clues into what it is that I need to really pay attention to? So, along with all these other wonderful things that we were doing this weekend, there was one thing that really stood out that I wanted to do more than anything, and that was to firewalk. I'd read an awful lot about it, and I'd seen a few things on the TV about it, and I thought to myself, not just me, but if anybody can walk across hot coals and not be burnt, not have any blisters, then I'll be proving a couple of things. First of all, science tells us that we can't do that. We cannot put our feet onto hot coals and not be burnt. And secondary, society is very good at telling us all kinds of things that we cannot do. So I wanted to prove to myself that I could do things that society said I couldn't do, so that I can start this new journey. Now, this was a little bit ego-filled, I'll be quite honest with you. I wanted to do this for myself, but yes, I also wanted to prove that beyond a shadow of a doubt, we can break down these boxes and we can go beyond the imposed limits that society has for us. So it was with great anticipation and excitement that I jumped in my car and I drove 7 hours down to Jasper Park. And when I got there, I was there about an hour early, and I ended up sitting outside on a small stone wall, looking down the valley at the beautiful mountains all around. It was absolutely magnificent, and it was a nice sunny day. So I was sitting there soaking all the sunshine in, and just really going into a bit of a contemplative meditation, making sure I was wide open for whatever it was I was going to receive that week. And then I noticed that somebody had sat beside me, and we got talking to each other and found out that this lady was from Calgary, and she also was going to the same retreat. So we started to talk to each other and to share with each other which classes we were going to, because there was a whole bunch of different ones to choose from. And it wasn't long before Mary, the lady who was sitting next to me, began to share with me some of her personal life. Mary used to be a nun, and I think it was about 5 years prior to this occasion, she began to become very unwell, and she ended up going to the hospital in Calgary, and they did a whole raft of tests on her, and they came back with the very unsettling news that she had stage 4 cancer. And they shared with her that there really wasn't too much they could do for her, and she should really go and start to make arrangements. So Mary shared with me that this is the very first person I ever heard tell me firsthand about something like this. I'd heard lots of anecdotal messages, people's friends, people's relatives across the water, etc. But this is the first time that I ever had an honest to goodness person sitting right next to me telling me about their personal experience. So Mary didn't want to die. She said she had so much more to do with her life. So what came to her was that she was going to revert back to the main thing in her life, and that in her case it was religion and it was belief system. So she decided to meditate and pray half a dozen times every day on the healing. And this is what she did. And sometime later, and I'm going to guess, I think she said it was around about 2 months, she began to feel better, a lot better. So in fact, she went back to the hospital in Calgary, went to see the oncologist, and asked them to repeat all the tests. And when all the test results came back, they brought her into the office, and the oncologist just didn't know what to say to her. He said, "Mary, you're cured." He said, "You haven't got an ounce of cancer in your body." He said, "I don't know what you're doing, but please keep doing it." So again, this was the first time that I'd ever heard of a person healing themselves, especially from a life-threatening situation like she had. So she decided that being in the nunnery was really, to her, was a little bit restrictive. So she decided to come out and to take qualifications in becoming a health worker, which she felt she was closer to the people with hands-on, and also the experience she'd had was going to stand her in good stead for giving information out. So this is a wonderful exchange that we had, and I of course was keeping my eyes and my ears open, ready for my guides to give me a nudge and to tell me that I should be listening. So I actually didn't see much of Mary during the week because we were on different classes. But nevertheless, it was an amazing week. I did all kinds of things which took me into other levels, which I realize are available to everybody. But many of us don't take the opportunity to do it. In this case, I'd taken a complete week off for myself, and I was going for it big time. So finally, on the Saturday, the big day came. And as I say, this is a little bit egotistical driven because I wanted this more than anything else. So on the Saturday morning, the firewalk instructor came and got, I think there's about 50 of us who decided to walk all together. And we went into a big meadow beside the retreat center. Now, I did not want this to be any trickery whatsoever. No fakeness, nothing like that. I didn't want them to spray the bottom of my feet with something, or the coals weren't very hot. I wanted this to be the real deal. In fact, so much so that I actually heard myself say in meditation that I would rather be burnt. I would rather have blisters on my feet and prove that this was real rather than some sort of trickery. I didn't want that in the slightest. So it was wonderful when we got down to the meadow, and there was a huge pile of firewood, probably 6 or 7 feet wide and 6 or 7 feet high. So we set fire to it ourselves, and we watched the flames, and they were 10 feet high into the air. No trickery here whatsoever. So after a few minutes, the instructor asked us to go back inside, where we had a cup of tea and some cookies, waiting for the fire to really burn down. And I remember when I went inside, I saw this lady standing in the corner. Now, in the morning when the instructor was talking to us, he had asked how many people here have firewalked before, and about half a dozen put their hands up, and I noticed this lady was one of them. So I went into the corner, and I asked probably what was a very naive question, but it's something I felt I had to do. And I stood in front of her and I said, "Can you please tell me how you knew that you wouldn't get burnt?" And she looked at me, and she had very piercing dark eyes, like coal. And she looked me straight in the eyes, and she said, "I just knew." And something happened in that moment. It was as if all the tension, all the fear, or most of the fear, drained out of me. And I felt actually a little bit unsteady on my feet. It was almost as if she was giving me the answer. It's your belief system. I can't explain how you do not get burnt. I've done this multiple occasions now, and I've never been burnt yet, and I cannot explain to you how. So after that little chat with the lady, we went back outside again, and the fire was burning very, very hotly, and we grabbed hold of some rakes, and we raked all the coals down into the fire pit. And again, this was perfect for me because I really wanted to see this firsthand. I wanted to make sure that there was no trickery going on whatsoever. So we raked the fire pit full of these red hot, in fact, there were white hot coals. And on the edges of the fire pit, there was flames, 5 or 6 inches high all the way down. So this was the real deal. There was no fooling with this one whatsoever. So we went in a huge circle and we all held hands, and the instructor was beginning to do some chanting to get us nice and peaceful and nice and calm, which was wonderful. So we did about 10 to 15 minutes of this chanting, and I was beginning to feel relaxed, although there was a little bit of anxiety in the pit of my stomach, absolutely, because right in front of me was this fire pit, which afterwards I checked it out. We walked for 8 paces. Now, can you imagine walking 8 paces through the fire? That was blowing me away that we were actually doing this. It absolutely amazed me. So as we were singing and chanting, it came time, and the first brave soul broke the circle, and he walked up to the edge of the fire pit and he walked across, and we all watched him do it. And then another one broke and did it, and another and another. And all this time I'm thinking, this is what you came for, Gary. The other events that we did were absolutely spectacular, but this is the big one for you. So let's do it. Let's suck it up and let's do it. So I walked up to the front of the fire pit and I could feel the heat. And I lifted my leg up and I was just about ready to walk when I felt a tug on my sleeve. And I turned around and there was Mary. "Have you gone yet, Gary? Have you gone yet?" I said, "No, I'm just going to go now. Have you been?" And she said, "No, I can't. I can't. I'm too scared." In that moment, my life changed. I crossed a line which I've never come back from since. All my ego, all of me wanting to do this, fell away. And I turned to Mary and I said, "Mary, after what you have told me, you cured yourself of a life-threatening disease." I said, "This is nothing. This is simple." I said, "Come on, let's do it together." And I held my hand out and took her hand. We took a deep breath and we walked across the fire together 8 paces. We got across to the other side and we both fell about laughing with relief and gave each other a big hug. And it was during that 30-second hug that it came to me, hit me like a ton of bricks. This is what I have been asking my guides to tell me, to show me, to give me some indication of what it is I need to do on this new path when it eventually came. And I realized in the moment when I let go of my ego, my needs and wants, and I helped another person to achieve their goals while still achieving my own at the same time, that this was my path, that this was what I needed to do. So I went round again, being a person who wanted to get their money's worth. I walked around 4 times. And each time was exactly the same. When you put your foot down on the hot coals, you can actually feel them. It's crunch, crunch, crunch. You can feel it, but no pain, no heat. So by the time I'd finished the 4 times, I was ecstatically happy, but more so with the knowledge that I've been waiting the whole week for my guides, my guardian angels, to tell me or give me a sign as to what it is I need to do. Now, this wasn't absolutely specific, but it gave me a push in the right direction to becoming a holistic practitioner very soon after this. So it gave me the courage to step out of my box, my career, and to move into something totally different. And just about I think it was about 6 weeks later when I was making my final arrangements to do what it is I wanted to do, I got another big message. And this message was very, very pointed. And it told me exactly which avenue I needed to go down and where I needed to go to get it. But as they say, that is another story. So please be aware on a daily basis and hourly basis of the messages, the intuition coming through your third eye, coming through your pineal gland. Sometimes we get words, sometimes we get voices in our head. Other times we might be thinking about an issue that we're having and we're flicking through the TV channels and there could be a group of people talking exactly about what it is you're having an issue with. Or you might open a book and there it is. Our guides will talk to us in different ways. Like my way might be quite different from yours and vice versa. Neither way is better, neither way is worse. And what usually happens is once this path has been established between you, then they will keep giving you information in the same manner so that it's familiar and you know where and how to look. So I'd like to take you on a little meditation now. And hopefully we'll make contact with your guides so that they can give you some advice for this crazy world that we're all living in right now through all these different things that are happening. So please gently close your eyes. Whether you're sitting or lying, begin to let go, begin to relax. And I'd like you to take 3 deep breaths, all the way in through your nose and out through your mouth. And with each exhale, give yourself permission to relax, to give up, to let go. I'd like you to bring your full awareness all the way down to both of your feet at the same time. All the way from your heels to the tips of your toes. And I'd like you to give your muscles in your feet permission just to be, with nothing to do. They've been supporting you all day long, and now it's time for them to rest. And just by thinking about it, you're giving your muscles permission to do exactly that. And bring that wave of relaxation from your feet across your ankles, into your calves, into your shins. And allow those muscle groups the opportunity to give up, to let go and relax. Bringing the wave across your knees, into your larger muscle groups of your quadriceps, your thighs and your buttocks. And feel those muscles relaxing into the chair which will support you. And recognizing now that both of your legs are beginning to feel comfortably heavy. And bringing your full awareness around to your back, to your spine, all the way from the base of your head, right the way down to your tailbone. And giving permission for all of your major muscle groups in your back to release. starting off at your hips and your lower back. No need to keep any stress or strain. Consciously let it go. Give it up. Release. And bringing the wave of relaxation up either side of your spine to the middle of your back, to your long erector muscles, which have been holding you in an upright position all day. Just for now, release them. Let them go and give them up. Bringing the wave up between your shoulder blades, where we hold a lot of our stress. So on your next exhale, release all of the stress from that area of your body. Just see it drifting and oozing away from you. Bringing the wave up to the back of your shoulders as they rest against the chair. This is where we keep a lot of our day-to-day tension. So on your next out breath, feel your shoulders dropping down half an inch as you consciously release, relax, and let go. Bringing the wave up the back of your neck, the back of your head, across the top of your head, into your forehead, where everything is peaceful, calm, and serene. Releasing all of the muscles around your eyes, the muscles in your cheeks and your jaw, and down the front of your neck, separating all of your vocal cords. And inviting this wave of relaxation into the front of your shoulders, permeating very deeply through the muscles, through the joints, and through the bones themselves. Coming down both of your arms at the same time, across your biceps and triceps, through your elbows into your forearms, across your wrists, your palms, and out through your fingers. Recognizing now that both of your arms are feeling comfortably heavy. And bringing the wave of relaxation from your shoulders down into your chest, into your heart, into your lungs, where everything is operating on autopilot, not a thing for you to do. Down into your abdomen, where most of your vital organs are located. Everything ticking over on hot standby. And round the back to your kidneys, which are filtering your blood 24/7 without any input from you at all. And finally, to your lower abdomen, where all of your female organs are located. Everything completely at peace, calm and serene. And recognizing now from the top of your head to the tips of your toes, you're feeling very comfortable in deep meditation. So I'd like you now, in your subconscious mind, to think of one issue that you're having in your life right now, be it in relationships, finance, at work, at home, with your health. Bring that one thought, that one topic to the front of your mind right now. Your guides, your guardian angels, are doing the dance of joy right now because you've taken this time out for yourself, out of your busy days, out of your busy schedules. And they're waiting to hear from you. So I'd like you, for the next 60 seconds, in your mind, to talk to your guides and tell them what your issue is. And then ask them for their advice. Please start that now. This is exactly what your guides or your guardian angels are here to do. They already know what your issue is, but they need you to ask. Our guides will do 50% of the business, but the other 50% has to come from us. So you now have asked, you've put it out there, and your job is twofold. The first thing is now to let it go. Don't dwell on it, don't wallow in it, just release it. And the second half of our job is to listen with both ears. You may have already got some sort of intuitive thought in your mind. It may come later, after this session is finished. It may come tomorrow. But for those with ears to hear and eyes to see, you will get the answer that's for your highest good. So please keep in touch with your guides on a daily basis. Have a little talk to them and form this wonderful partnership, which is going to last between now and the day you pass on. It's our gift, it's our birthright. So please use it as often as you choose to. So I'd like for you to begin to feel your fingers and your toes, your hands and your feet, your arms and your legs, your shoulders, your neck, your head and your face. And on the count of three, slowly open your eyes and be here now, in this reality, in this here and now. 1, 2, 3. Open your eyes and be here now. And once again, I'd like to thank Pam for inviting me along today. And I wish you all a wonderful rest of the day, no matter where you be. Namaste.